Welcome back everyone. Today we're going to be looking at what's new with the Panasonic Lumix GH5. It's been a while since the release of the original GH4 back in 2014, and now 3 years later we finally get an update with the GH5. At first glance, it looks like it's going to be well worth the wait, so let's dive in and check out what's new on the GH5. Quickly looking at the outside of the camera, the body is almost exactly the same, besides the addition of a joystick and the relocation of the record button to the top of the camera. But there are a few nice hidden upgrades once you start getting into the body. For one, under the SD card slot cover, you now have dual SD card slots. This is a great feature to have to be able to record backups of footage, and it also allows you to record full res output to one of the cards and proxies to the other, making working with 4K files much easier. On the other side of the camera, you now have a full-sized HDMI out port, so no more of those micro HDMI cables. And it has a more modern USB-C port. Some other mechanical upgrades include a high-resolution viewfinder, a now 20 megapixel sensor without a low-pass filter, which allows for better detail and micro contrast. Along with the better sensor comes the 5-axis in-body stabilizer that pairs with Panasonic lenses to create a dual IS system for some impressive stabilization when shooting handheld. And lastly, this isn't really part of the GH5, but an accessory that was released alongside it is the XLR adapter, which adds 2 XLR inputs and transmits the data through the smart hot shoe on the top of the camera, to make getting usable audio much simpler and more compact than the YAG setup for the GH4. Internally is where the big improvements are, now being able to record 4K 60p at 420 8-bit, and later this summer with a firmware update, 4K 30p at 422 10-bit. Again, all internally. And if you drop to full HD, you can get up to 180 frames per second. And I'll show you some samples of that right now. Some other nice touches is that there's no recording time limits, supposedly no overheating issues, and as with all cameras nowadays, a must add in is better low light sensitivity. The last thing they added is a new feature for cameras in this range, and that's the ability to put custom LUTs in camera to monitor when you're shooting, so you have a better idea of how your footage is going to look. So far, this all sounds pretty good, but there are a few quirks as well. For one, it's a micro 4/3 sensor, so you're gonna have a 2x crop on all the lenses that you put on it. And even with that 2x crop, any APS-C lenses under 20mm will vignette with a speed booster in 4K. So if you wanna go wide and you're using a speed booster, make sure you're getting full frame lenses or using native micro 4/3 lenses. Other than that, you still have to buy the V-Log gamma profile separately, and I'm not quite sure why they don't just include it, but if you rent one from us, all of our GH5s have it on it. Overall, I think it's gonna be a great little camera and is filled with some really powerful shooting options. That's gonna wrap it up for today. Let me know your thoughts on the GH5 in the comments below. Are you excited to try it out, or do you think you'll take a pass? If you enjoyed this video, leave a like and subscribe to stay up to date with all of the new videos we're putting out. And if you wanna try out the GH5 before buying it, head on over to Lensprotogo.com, your resource for all your online gear rentals. And I'll put a link to that in the description below. As always, happy shooting.